This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Well, hey guys, it's Thursday night, so you know what time it is. It's time for Tales from the Cabin. Stories from the Cabin, Tales from whatever. It's our story time. And joining us from his closet, we have Mr. Braden Pennington.
How's everyone doing tonight?
He's over there taking a snooze because he's been working all day.
Yep, want to.
He was making me tired during the intro.
I'll try not to yawn too much.
And we also got Jake. Jake made it back here, and I don't see the bow in view, but I have a feeling it's still on the floor, isn't it?
Nope, it got moved.
Oh, did it move?
Oh,
It moved
Where did it move to?
out to the kitchen table. I was doing some work on it today.
Oh, you
I
were
was
working
getting
on it.
everything. Yeah, I was getting everything adjusted. Got the my sight came loose over the
Oh,
winter, so I was tightening that back up. Drew it back a few times just to make sure the cables were gliding correctly, and was going to go shoot it today, but the storms were through, so didn't get to do that. But it's making progress.
but how did it come loose if you didn't shoot it? It's been sitting in your desk all this time.
Because it was in my basement, and it fell off the table.
Oh well, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, so we were downstairs moving stuff around, and I guess my wife or I didn't know that the table was loose, and one of us bumped into it, and the table leg collapsed, and down went my bow and a few my other hunting stuff. So it wasn't super wobbly, but there was some play in it, which I didn't like. So figured weather was getting nice out. Figured go out, start shooting. We got to make sure everything's tight first before I go out, start shooting. I think I'm off when it could be just the sight.
Just a bummer that she didn't break it. You could use it as an excuse to get a
I
new bow.
know. Just I need
Exactly.
a $1,400 bow now. Sorry.
Yeah. And my wife, she is back. She's like, oh joy,
I'm back.
I'm back with these guys. Don't you think that would be a smart idea though, Aaron? If you drop the bow, then that means we get it. You get a new bow, right?
You better hope you have good insurance on your bow or something.
I don't think they have wife insurance. If they did, man, I'd have a lot of things fixed right now. They do not have that. Well, we are here. Today we're going to talk about some trail cameras. Some that apparently some of these one of the companies that I use the camera for is no longer in business anymore, and I just found that out about 20 minutes before the show because I couldn't find their website, and I knew it was there, and it's no longer there, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But you guys rounded out turkey season. It finished the end of May. Anything to report? Did you guys get any shots at least, Braden? I'll take that as a no.
That's a big negative.
That's a big negative.
I only went out that first time. The only thing around me are like the tame turkeys, is what we call them, because they're wild turkeys, but you could get within like 20 feet of them, and they just kind of stare at you. And it's like, these aren't fun to hunt because you literally can just walk right up to one and shoot it in the head, and that's not hunting. So
Joe's
not much to hunt around here.
Joe Zahid is referring to your bow. If it broke, he says, I would have used it broken or not. Need a new bow. He said he would use that excuse. So
Yep.
that would have been something that you could have done. But I wanted to bring up the turkey because I did actually come in contact with a turkey, not exactly, but this is probably as close as a turkey as I got to this year.
Yum.
With the mower?
Well, my neighbor.
Or were you just on the mower?
Well, no, that's my neighbor. He come up to me when we were
Okay.
mowing earlier this week, and he was like, "Did you shoot a turkey?" I says, "No." He said, well, somebody did because there's part of it left here. So we don't know if something got to it. Somebody shot it and then it got to it. But a buddy of mine thinks it looks like a gobbler. He thinks it's a hen. What's your expertise on this? What do you guys think? Is it a gobbler or is it a hen? What do you think? We're trying to figure it out.
I'm gonna say gobbler.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
a tail fan.
You're gonna say gobbler?
that's what I'm gonna
Yep.
say too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the neighbor thought it was a hen, and again, I don't do a lot of turkey hunting, so I figured I'd leave it for the professionals here that do turkey hunt. But based on the pictures that a buddy of mine showed, I would have to agree. I think it's a gobbler. I don't think it's a hen. But a coyote or something must have gotten to it. So I don't exactly know what had happened. I don't have a trail cam back in there. So before we get into some of these trail cams, I want to ask you guys something. Do you all use at least one cellular camera on your property? Are you looking to do that this year, or do you just not have any interest in it?
No, I
Yeah,
have.
I- Go ahead, Jake.
No, I was gonna say I have the Tacticam Reveal, and they just actually came out with the Reveal X2 or whatever June 1st. So yesterday it dropped, which is supposed to be all the better stuff from the first Reveal. So I mean, I used that one, and it's about to go back into the woods by this coming week. I left it out because I knew we were going to be talking about it, but it's going to go back in the woods sometime coming up, and I'll turn my plan back on to start charging me for the data rates and start getting some pictures in.
Oh yeah, that darn charging! I forgot about that. No, I've
Yeah.
had mine on for most of I think since the end of February, but that was because I was trying to see what made it through. But what about you, Braden?
Yeah, mainly I run nothing but cell cams anymore. It's just more convenient than having to put scent in the woods where you plan on hunting, and two, if you don't have time, cell cams make it easy. So that's mainly what I run nowadays. Now, if I am on like state ground or something where I know it's heavily trafficked, I will put like just a cheap wild game innovation or Moultrie camera up there. So if a dishonest person does come across it and they take it, I'm not out a couple $100, you know?
Now, do you find that the plans are more expensive depending on the type of trail camera you're using, or are you finding? I mean, I'm finding like they're pretty much the same no matter what. I mean, for what you get, right? I mean, is that
Right.
the consensus? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, you look at, I have Spy Point, I have Moultrie, I have the Tacticams, and they're all about the same price point for unlimited photos a month. But I will say the Spy Point, you get 100 free photos a month if you don't want
Yeah.
to pay for a plan, which is nice for like late season or something. I just leave my Spy Points out, and if I go through my 100 pictures before the month ends, I just pay like the extra $5 for 250 more photos for the month to finish it out. So, I mean, that's a nice aspect of it, the free photos a month. But yeah, I mean, ultimately they're all right around the same price point as far as plans.
Now, Jake, I know you're out in the middle of nowhere. I have some things out in the middle of nowhere. I know, Braden, you have them throughout, probably different states even because you hunt on different land.
Yep.
Have you ever found one that just didn't work for you in the area that you're at, Jake?
Not really. I mean, like I said, the one I have right now is the Tacticam, and I'm deep in the woods at the one spot, and I put it, and I mean, it's the first gen model, so the antenna is not like the strongest one. But other than that, I mean, I've gotten service, I've gotten pictures sent to my phone. So it really wasn't. I mean, sometimes they're delayed if it's really, really back there, or like depending on the weather. But other than that, I mean, I haven't really gotten issues with getting photos to the phone.
Now, Braden, you spoke about earlier. You said about hunting public land and whatnot. I know I would be tempted, and I said a lot of the TV celebrities do this, but they put the cell cameras on their public land and even sometimes private land in other states. Do you do that? Do you take the risk and do that, or do you not? Because I know that's a question a lot of people ask.
Yeah, like I said, depending on where I'm at, like when we go to Ohio to hunt, we have some private ground we hunt, but we also switch it up and hunt a good amount of public ground. So if I'm a good ways off the road, like deep in the timber, yeah, I have a easier time putting it on the tree. But if I'm close to like an access road or whatnot, I try to stay away from it. But one thing I do on public ground, if I am planning on putting a cell cam or a regular camera up, I normally take one of my hunting sticks I use for saddle hunting, and I'll actually put my camera up in the tree like 10 foot up in there, and then face it down on a trail or a water hole or wherever I'm gonna place my camera. That way, a normal person, if they're just taking a hike, they more than likely they're not going to be able to get to it.
Well, I know that's one thing that I want to talk about here today, because different techniques. Not we can get into some of the trail cams as we get going here, what we're using, and we're not sponsored by any trail cam company, so I want to put that out there. But just ones that we've been using. What is a tip that you could give? And Jake and start thinking about it, and Aaron, maybe I know you kind of go along with what I say around here with the cameras, but what are some of the tips that or maybe your dad that your dad did to protect the camera from getting stolen? I know, Braden, you just said you put it up high. Has that been a good deterrent?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, if you put your camera up 10, 11 foot, if say a rifle hunter's on the ground, more than likely they're not going to be able to get up there unless there's branches that they could climb. So, and I mean, if they really want it bad enough, yeah, they'll go out and they'll get a stick or whatnot and take it. And at that point, it's, well, they must need it more than I need it. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, that tactic I use, it works pretty good. But you can also buy locks for the cameras. You can buy cages and locks. So there's multiple different ways to do it to try to keep them secure.
Yeah, and Randy has a comment here on the YouTube channel, and he said the reveals are nice, but my money goes to Spy Point because they just introduced $99 a year, and he can run 1 or 100 cameras. I mean, otherwise it's $20 a camera, or you can pay $99 a year, and you can't do that with any other trail camera company.
That's unlimited. You can, because that's what I was going to bring up with my Tacticam, how I have it that it's every camera you buy, you have to get a new service plan to pay for it. So Spy Point's looping all the cameras. So if you have 5, it's still only $100.
So from my understanding, now I don't see it on their website, and it might be, and maybe Randy can elaborate on it, because I know they were talking about doing this. I don't know if it's been officially pushed out. They have a club membership too that they do. I'm gonna pull up the website here.
Make me switch to Spy Point then if they run that, because I don't want to keep paying the multiple.
So they have an annual pricing here that you essentially pay for unlimited, a non-member price, which is basically $10. But here's the thing. Let's keep this in mind here. You're paying additional for full HD, but with a trail cam, do we really even care if it's HD?
I mean, to an extent. Sometimes I feel like
if you want to get a closer look at a buck or something, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
So their monthly pricing, they have free 100 photos for Spy Point, which, like you were saying, the basic is $250 or $4. But if you have the club, and maybe that's what Randy has, he might have the club. You get it doesn't cost you anything for $250. But when you go to standard, it's 1,000 photos. Club price $5.60 or $7, and then your premium $10 a month for non-member, or $8, which is what I do. I do the unlimited because it just makes sense, and I will get into kind of the other things. But if you do it monthly, this is where they get you $15 for premium per month. So, Randy, the pricing for Spy Point for the $99 a year for 1, to 1,000 cameras. Is that released right now? Can somebody actually do that? We want clarification on this because I know they talked about it. They were going to group it together because otherwise it's like if you're doing it monthly, it's $15 per device. And again, I know that was something they talked about. Or is it something you have to be a member of where they have that membership with the Insiders Club? I'm a fan of SpyPoint. I really like their stuff, and they've always done good by me with warranty and everything like that. So I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 or 4 SpyPoints, the micro lights, and like I said, I haven't had any issues with them. But in the same sense, my buddies, they've all had them, and they've been junk for them. So it's one of them. Maybe I'm just getting a good batch of cameras, or maybe they're just not great. But like I said, I haven't had any issues with them, so I still use them.
I had an issue with one of the earlier I don't want to call it a prototype, but it was the trail cams. I'm just gonna, again, we're not sponsored by them. This is just, but the Micro Link LTE is what I had. It's a $120 camera, and I'll pull it up here so you guys can see it. This camera here I had an issue where you close the door here. Let me zoom it in here if I can. So the door, there's a gasket that runs around the door. What was happening is somehow moisture got into the lens and there was water inside. I mean, there wasn't moisture. There was water. Those batteries were in water and it was all rusted. It still worked, but the lens had like this lens flare to it because water got in it. Well, I called them and they immediately sent me a brand new one and no issues. I just had to send the other one back. So that was something. So that's why I said, and my Link Micro is that what they call that? What's the other thing that you hook up to any trail cam? Let me see here. Oh, the Cell Link.
The Cell Link, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can sometimes find these on Amazon for $30. I didn't pay $60 for it. I paid like $30. I couldn't, because Aaron, you remember, I was like, this was like my first go.
Right.
The problem that I had with this, and I went through probably about 3 or 4 of them, is they give you this cable that screws onto the bottom here that has an SD card attached to the cable. When I stuck it in my trail cam, it actually pinched the cable and caused it to not work. Yep. It didn't happen the first time. It didn't happen the first time. It was after I opened it to change batteries on the cellular on the device. When I went to close it again, it didn't work after that. So they had to send me a new cable. Like I said, I don't know if they have a picture of the cable here, but it's a cable with an SD card up. But that was, I went through like 3 of them and they didn't have no problems. They sent me 3 of them and, I just kept sending it back and they're like, yeah, we know it's kind of a terrible setup. And you ran into that problem too?
Yep, absolutely. Like you said, whenever you would shut it, most of the cameras, to be watertight, they latch real snug and tight.
Yes.
And that was the same issue I ran into. And sometimes I ran into the issue that whenever I would close it, it would actually pull the card out. So then it wasn't even reading anything. But when they do work, I mean, what better way to make if you have a favorite Moultrie or Cuddyback or Wild Game Innovation camera, what better way to make it a cell cam, something simple like that?
Well, and I think the other thing with the SpyPoint that I'm a fan of, and Jake, you use the Tacticams, but let me show you guys the app. I think the app is great. Like I have another a cellular one, and it sends it as a text message. Now, and we'll get into that. The cool part about that is you can add up to 7 people on that text group, and everybody will get that cell picture. Where if, like my wife, Aaron, you couldn't open this app up and get all the pictures. It's locked to one device. So that's kind of a bummer. I think they need to open it up for more, especially if you have a group of people
or spouses or
that are hunting the same ground. Mm-hmm. So Tacticam, can you do that with the Tacticam one, Jake? Can you have multiple users receive the pictures?
I don't get them as text messages. I get them as the actual, it's a notification in app, and then I open the app up.
Okay.
And then I can see it. So, I mean, if someone else logs into my account,
as long as you have the login,
you can go in and view them.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like it's a text message that gets sent out. It's a just a notification to go in and kind of view and see what's going on.
Okay. Because that's what I was wondering. I'm gonna see if I can't share my screen here, if it's possible here. I'll have to see. On my phone to actually show the app, because the app is pretty cool with the pictures, how it does. It's probably kind of how you do it, I'm assuming, with yours. So give me 1 second here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see if I can't pull it up on my phone and get it going with the NDI here, and then show it, because I think people would like to see. I mean, that's one of the big things, at least with mine. To be able to kind of see here. I just got to see if it shows my phone here on it. But what about the other features that they have in there with like location, and they have hunting boundaries? Is that stuff that's important for you guys on your trail cameras? Is that something that you want, or does it really not matter to you?
don't-
More than anything, I think the location would be the biggest thing for me. If someone would steal it and
Yeah.
they would turn it
Mhm.
on and they would ping to where they're at, I mean, that would be nice. But other than that, for the most part, you should know where you set your cameras. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what the app looks like. I mean, I can go full screen with it if we need to do that here. So in fact, let me do that because it'll make it a little easier for the viewers. So this is inside my SpyPoint app, and you can see here this is me filming it earlier today. But I can actually rotate it sideways here. Let me do this, so you can actually see the screen here and peruse through your pictures fairly easy. You can share it. But I mean, for this not being HD, I mean, the pictures look really good.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So like here's overnight. I mean, the night view of it. This is at almost midnight. And this I want to just shoot this guy.
Is that, oh,
See?
he's hanging from.
This is what these coons do. This is what they
Got a
do.
buddy.
It's ridiculous. These
You got to put some springs on those
Man.
legs so they can't climb them.
Yeah.
springs, yeah.
Little what are those slinkies?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's
Put a
a good
slinky
idea.
on at the top, and they won't be able to climb up, and they'll keep sliding down it.
That's what I'm gonna have to do, because man, I'll tell you what.
He came in like a wrecking
Little-
ball.
Little 22.
Yeah. But you can kind of do you see that cage out there?
Mhm.
Notice there's nothing in it.
So he's sitting there. He's like, "Get this thing out of here." But I like this app. Whereas, let me kind of do this. I'm gonna go into my So this is one of the other trail cams that I have, and I'll show about this. This is the one that actually went out of business. This was Meyer Trail Cams, and it does HD. It does up to 4K. Believe it or not, it'll give you a report. It'll say like your pictures, how many it's taken, how many movies, what your battery's at, SD card, how full it is. The app is kind of clunky with it, and you can't do a lot of things with it. But the pictures are, I mean, they're fairly decent. You can see right there. Now this is at my mother-in-law's
Yeah,
property,
not bad.
so I'm kind of like, okay, but I don't know if this is something that matters to people. Like I see Randy's in the chat room. Randy's like, you know what, all apps are the same.
Yeah, I mean, I just pulled mine up, and I was kind of perusing through it as you were doing yours, my reveal.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's kind of the same thing as yours. So I mean, I feel like all the apps are the same. I mean, on the Tacticam, you can request HD photos, and I think on the new X2, you can request HD videos as
Video.
well. So I mean, that's kind of a cool concept to be able to request. I mean, you got to pay for it. I think it's
Right.
$8 for 50 photos for the HD. Last time I checked, I don't know what it is for video. But I mean, if you want to zoom in to see how many points something has or
yeah.
make it clarity, I mean, it's there, but kind of as Randy put it, all apps are the same. They're just different
Let's
layouts.
let's take a look at this, because again, we're not promoting any one product here. We want to promote.
Look at them all.
Look at them all here, yeah. And so I'm assuming here under, is this the one that you're talking about? Is this the one that you have? Where is it?
I just had I don't think they even make the one I have anymore. I
Okay.
just had the regular reveal, like the first gen one.
Okay.
But it's the new one, the X, not the XB. It's
There's a Reveal X and an XB that I see on here.
okay.
And
then
then SK. Go to Reveal by Tacticam, Steven.
Just the Reveal
They have
X.
they have their own app or their own website.
Oh, is it its own Reveal app?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The website. Yeah.
Let me see if I can go to that here real quick.
But yeah, as
what-
far
what-
as cameras, right? This
Yeah,
is
go
my
ahead.
favorite from Tacticam, the Reveal SK. Comes with a solar panel built on it. Lithium battery pack. It's rechargeable, so
Is that important?
this is the one I mean, I run these a lot out in Ohio just because I don't have enough time to change batteries in and out.
Yeah.
And like this, I had it out all year, and I never had to swap batteries. So
Well,
that's a big thing for me.
yeah, I'm looking to get one like that, because I even from Spy Point, because I'm tired of running through batteries.
Right.
I think yours was this is the website here. They have the data sheet. I mean, the app looks almost similar to Spy Points. It's almost like they all use the
Right.
same template, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent you. There you go. You had on your screen the X2. But yeah.
Which one is the one? Is that the one you have? The X? Two?
No, I have the X2 is their newest one that came out. I have
Okay.
just the Tacticam Reveal, which I don't even know if they make anymore.
I see
the-
Reveal X, XB, SK, X, and then X Gen, whatever that.
Yeah.
The Gen 2 is the newest one.
Yeah, and the Reveal X. Yeah, so this is the. I don't know if you can see. I have it right here. This is
Yep.
the. So you can kind of tell it's a little different. How the photo sensors are kind of full screen, full width, where the Reveal X is kind of broken up. So this is like their first model they came out with, and then I think they did the X, XB, SK, and now the 2.0. Yeah, so yeah, Gen 1 camera. So I mean, for being a Gen 1, it's lived up to everything it needs to for their flagship model.
Yeah.
Which I feel is kind of important. You kind of get a camera out there that's not well performing. Not many people are going to want to buy upgraded models or newer models of it if it's not working. I know there's been a few times that I'd have issues and I contacted customer support all over Facebook, or you tag Tacticam and they're always like, hey, I work for them.
Yeah.
Send me your information. I'll log in, see what's going on. And I mean, within half hour, my issue's resolved. So, I mean, no complaints on their customer service side either.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to do tonight is talk about these cameras that we all have experience with, give the pros, give the cons, and let you, the audience, decide what camera's best for you within your budget, the quality, the customer service. Customer service is huge, whether or not it's a top-rated camera or not. If you're not going to get top-notch customer service, you may be more likely to go with a different camera that maybe people aren't really talking about, just to ensure that if something goes wrong, you're going to be safe. We're going to take a quick break and come back. We want to show you some more of these different cameras. We want to show you some placement. I could show you on my property where my wife and I have ours. And Braden's got some pictures. Jake's, we got some of that stuff. So stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
Apex Gear, known for their performance-driven archery sights and accessories, is pleased to introduce the new Covert Series archery sight. VersaPin technology allows shooters to change the pin color and pin size on demand in an instant. The compact and lightweight sight is equipped with stainless steel hardware, micro-adjustable windage and elevation, an ultra-smooth, easy one-hand adjustment knob for quick yardage changes, and a micro-push button light. The new Covert Series from Apex Gear.
Confidence is key, and when bow hunting, confidence can be defined by one word: accuracy. Introducing the Thorn Expandable Broadhead. Its patented hidden blade technology guarantees field point accuracy, and the patented rip tip grabs at hide and flesh, ensuring deployment and beginning the process of devastation. Its stainless steel blades render up to a massive 2.2-inch cut. For confidence and accuracy, there is only one choice. Thorn Broadheads, the world's most accurate broadhead.
All right, we're back. If you're just joining us, we're talking all things trail cameras because at the end of the show, we want you, the consumer, to be able to determine what trail cam you should be looking at, whether it's cellular, whether it's HD. Do you really need the HD? These are all questions that you need to ask, and only you can answer those questions. So that's what we're hoping to do today. So I want to jump back here. I'm going to pull this up here, this video that I have here in like our property in the back. Okay, so this is where I have my spy point. This is the micro, and I have it right on this tree. It's pretty concealed, really good, but you can see how close it is to the food plot / corn feeder. We are in Ohio, so I keep that up all year round, and you can see it has easy access to all the paths that come out from different areas of the property, and there's another path down the back that I have cut. But then you can also see where I have my blind, which I don't have the blind part on it right now. I just have the frame up. It's a good 20 yards from where it's at. So, you know, it's a great location, if you will, for the camera. I also have another camera that's down one of those paths, as you can see here. There's a path that leads from another person's property. I cut this path all the way down so that the deer have a way to come up. You can see right there. We also have this is a real swampy area. I haven't got a chance to cut it yet this year. But it's really wet back there. But that also is probably about 30, maybe 40 yards from where the feeder is in that particular area where I had the paths cut. Just checking to see what paths the deer are coming down, you know. And then this is that CellLink Micro, but I use it with a Muddy trail cam. And the Muddy is what I found to be super tight. Braden, we were talking about it being tight. Going into it, and that's the other company, right. The Meyer trail camera. I still have one that's unused, the X-Vision. It's an AT&T only, but the company's out of business now. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not gonna buy another AT&T plan for it. So maybe I'll just do it as a giveaway. It still works. It's still great. It's brand new, but it's not something that I'm probably going to end up using.
My surroundings, I walk around, and if it looks good, if I find a couple beds and I see a trail nearby, I put it on the trail just to see if they're using it as like a morning bed or an evening bed, you know. So it all depends on your property, all on what you have there. If you're hunting woods, more than likely, you're trying to find trails, you're trying to find beds, you're trying to find the food source. So
yeah, Randy, apparently when I kicked it over one of the videos, were you able to hear the talk over when we were playing the videos? Or because I think what happened was in preview it kicked over a video and I think it automatically muted it. So were you able to hear us talking over top of the videos I showed where the cameras were at? No, it wasn't you. It was not you. It was on my end here. So sometimes what happens is I do some automations and it will mute things and trigger things to make my life a little bit easier. Sometimes it gets away from me sometimes. So hopefully you were able to hear. You didn't miss a lot from Braden. He was talking about positioning and where he likes to put the cameras, and then also like the locations where I had my cameras. So hopefully you were able to hear during that. Yeah, he was. So it was just that little bit, and I think that's where it happened when I played that. So Braden, if you just kind of want to hit that again, give him the cliff notes of it since he missed a little bit of it. But he lost us after the music. Okay. Yeah. So again, I appreciate you letting us know.
Yeah. So more than anything, I mainly try to position my cameras at a funnel, a pinch point, food source, water source, bedding, basically around like ridge tops. They like to bed up on ridge flats where they can get wind up and down from both sides. So more than anything, it's using the camera what it's made for. It's just mainly for intel. So that I run quite a few cameras, probably 15, 20 a year, all over the place. So I'm not afraid to just put it on this lightly used trail or this heavily used trail. And I normally face them one opposite from each other, just to get an idea of how they're coming and going, where they're feeding, where they're bedding. So,
well, I think that's good. I think that's a good word of advice for people to do that. Jake, why don't you walk us through a little bit here? I'm assuming this is the Tactacam reveal that you gave us the picture here of, right?
Yeah, that's just I set it up to watch the goats.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, just to see kind of what happens, and then I just did a self-test photo to kind of see what it would do. But yeah, I mean, this is just the test. When I normally put my camera, it's in the woods on a tree facing one part of my property. There's like 3 trails and it meets in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'll put my camera there, kind of shooting out to see which way they're coming. It's actually nowhere where I even hunt. It's just kind of seeing which way they go after they hit this middle. Yeah, that's just the goats just chilling there. But yeah, so I just put it there to kind of get more intel of which way they're heading. Heading out of my field, going to where I'm hunting, or going over to the neighbor's property. I sometimes put like minerals out, kind of just on the ground, kind of get them at least a stop to see what's going on. The back part of our woods, it's about 20 acres. It's kind of just like a cruising area because there's so much corn around me. So it's kind of, they just walk through the woods. They really don't live there. It's just kind of a pass through. So anyway, I can get them to stop and take some pictures and see what's going on. I do. So.
Well, let me ask you, one thing I noticed, and I don't know if you guys all noticed this, but compared to like our pictures, or my pictures, I shouldn't say ours. They look like they're high def, but also that they're widescreen. They're not like your typical 9:16 or your typical photo. Do you notice that too, Aaron? Do you see that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
I don't know how that happened because it's most of the time I did like kind of flatten it out, so maybe that was it.
Okay.
Because I kind of took it onto my computer and
so he manipulated it.
I was gonna say, wow, looks really good.
I flattened it out, so it's not all up towards, like all just like you said, 16:9. I kind of pushed it down.
Okay. Yeah, because like here's Braden's, and that's how mine are. They're like 16:9.
Yeah,
they're
right.
like
I kind of cropped it.
Yeah. So now you also have the reveal. Is this the same one Jake has?
That's the Reveal X.
Okay. And so you're using this to what? Just monitor waterfowl?
No, that's out on an island out in Ohio, down at the river bottom where we hunt.
Okay.
I sent you another picture of that buck.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures here I can go through. So this one was just...
That's it underwater.
Okay, there's the buck. Let me zoom in.
Yeah, that's the same camera as a picture of the bird. So we were actually out in Montana whenever we were in Montana. I got those pictures, and we came back. and my camera flooded, and I'm like, there's no way it's gonna work. And I got pictures for, it was 24 hours just of underwater.
Really?
Oh my.
And I told my wife, I'm like, there's not a chance my camera's gonna work. You know what I mean? After the water goes down. And 24 hours later, I'm getting pictures of the water level. I'm like, okay, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, I got lucky once. That's a good statement for a Tacticam. They're watertight and they work, still work great. Went out hunting. It was working and working. Couldn't get to it because the water was still high. That's my stupidity for putting it on an island. But
Well, you can get it
at the
eventually.
same time, that's where we found that all the deer bed during the day. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put one there, solar panel. I'm not going to touch it all year. I'm going to see what we got.
So
And
that's,
then that picture of that stork or crane, whatever,
Yeah.
that was in January. They got another storm out there and they went underwater again.
Of course.
And at that point, I was like, you know what? I deactivated my camera. I canceled my subscription. I'm like, there's no point in me just
yeah.
paying to get pictures. So it's still a coin flip to see if my camera's, one, still there, and two, if it still works, because I haven't had a chance to go out and get it. Last time I was out, it was still too high to get out there. So
Well, that's what Randy's saying here in the chat. He says, I just dug a water hole at my stand location and my spy point is going crazy.
yeah,
It's doing what
That's a
yours
brilliant
is
method.
doing, right?
that's a brilliant move this time of year with it being so hot out. Water hole in the middle of the woods.
Oh yeah. There's some water out even where ours is at. Now, before we get into some of these other companies, because a lot of the other companies, since Erin's the female here and she's also a wife, so with us talking about spending the extra money for like a cellular trail camera and versus a regular trail camera, you're talking like $40 to $50 versus, we'll say, $120 to $150. Is that safe to say? I'd say
Right.
for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that something that's justified in these cell camera pictures,
Okay.
getting something like that?
Well, okay, if you look at it this way, you have to drive to all of the locations anyway. Okay, ours is directly on our property, but I'm saying the ones at my mom's property, or if you have property on, whatever, a friend's property or something, and you have to spend that money in gas to go get to your camera, plus all of the time it takes. That's time away from your family. That's time, so in a way, just to be able to pull it up on your cell phone really quick, that's way more convenient and, in my opinion, time efficient and even price efficient, I guess, as far as, because gas isn't getting cheaper. So it's justifiable. I would say that's justifiable.
So now all the guys out there, you can take that clip,
Oh no!
and when you want to get one of these cameras,
no.
you just take that to your wife and say, "Here, listen to her.
Nope.
She knows what she's saying."
Oh no! It's an individual thing, I guess.
So there's another company that I have a love-hate relationship with, and that is Wild Game Innovations. And it's like, I have one of their cameras. One of them you saw in the video that I showed. I love them when they work, but I've had many of them only last me one season, and I don't know what it is.
I have 2 on my desk and 4 downstairs right now that I got to put out, and they're kind of my scouting cameras. Like, if I don't care, like
What
where
happens
it
to them?
goes, or
Yep.
what happens to them. Like, I mean, they're $30 at Walmart or something, $40 at Walmart. Sometimes you can get them on sale at Dick's Sporting Goods too. So
Yes.
I just buy a whole bunch and put it out. And then I think I had these now. I think this is going on my 3rd year with these. As I know, some of the older ones, as they get used a lot, they did have water issues, or the battery compartments would kind of corrode, and you would say full battery, and then within like 2 days, the battery should be dead.
Yeah, my new
So,
one
yeah.
behaves better. I'm going on
So-
3 years with it.
So I had those issues before, but luckily these cameras, either I put them in dry spots or what, but knock on wood, they've been doing well so far.
Braden, what's your experience been with? I'm sure you've used Wild Game Innovation. It probably was an impulse buy at some point.
Yeah, like Jake was saying, for a cheaper camera, I run a good bit of them, like I said, on state ground, and like he was saying, I haven't had any issues with any of the ones that I have. There's a couple of them I'm going on 5 years now with them. Now the batteries don't last as long as they did when they were new, but at the same time, I'm like, that gives me, I don't know how many I have, 8. Gives me 8 extra cameras I get to put out and get intel. So as long as they keep working, I'm going to keep running them.
Yeah, I mean, I have, like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with these guys, just because of that very thing. Like you start going, okay, this is a good camera, and then it dies on you for no apparent reason.
Right.
Another company that I again have a love-hate relationship with is the Moultrie. And again, these are great ones, like you guys were saying, to just throw them out and use them for scouting or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what happens to them. Get them from Dick's or Dunham's for like $30. They do have cell cameras, but I have, still working at my mother-in-law's, a 12-year-old Moultrie trail cam. That thing has been drugged through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
That thing fell out of my backpack a few
Didn't you
times.
get infested with ants one
It
time?
got infested with ants that I ended up leaving it outside and getting it all cleared out. It runs the big D batteries. That's how old it is. It runs D
Oh, wow.
batteries in this thing. Okay, I don't even know what model number it is. I just know it's fairly big. Okay, it looks like twice the size of these. And I'll
they're
tell you
like a
what,
tank compared to nowadays.
that's right. You cannot kill this thing. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I'm just like, holy smokes. So
Was it black?
it's like that rough bottom line it's almost like your camo from Trophy Line, but yet it looks like Army
Okay.
camo on it. Like, it's the same color
Yeah,
scheme.
My dad had the all black one, and up till, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, that's all he wanted to use. And I'm like, dude.
But it works.
But it works.
But they're
that was his exact words. And I'm like, all right, well, I went out and bought him a couple of stealth cameras, one of the better ones. And he's like, after he got to use them, he's like, you know what? That's pretty nice. Like, I don't have to carry a big heavy battery, and I can just carry some double A's. It's half the size.
Listen, if you get attacked in the woods, you could smack somebody with it. That's how
Mhm.
bad it. But
Yeah, they were tanks.
but they were only 320 by 120 resolution. It was like god awful
Yeah,
resolution. And
something like
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
Randy says
But-
I only had one wild game camera and it works great. So he's with you, Braden.
Yep.
So I don't know. Moultrie, are you guys running Moultries at all? Any
Nah,
kind of give up on the
Yeah.
old Moultrie?
I have a
never
couple
never
more.
tried.
Okay. I
I
figured
forget which one I have, but
you
I
had
have
to
a
have one, Braden. You had to have like to be able to compare it. No, I mean I do the same thing. I buy these companies, not buy the companies, but I buy these products from the companies to kind of go over. And let me see here. Randy has said he has 2 Moultries. One used D batteries, and the other runs C batteries. Oh, I have one that runs C batteries. Yes,
Yep.
and it still runs strong. Yeah, he paid the $60. Same with me. I think I remember because my father-in-law got one. I think they were like 2 for $60 or something. It was like Dunham's had it.
Mhm.
It was like some weird sale, like a Labor Day sale. It was off season. We didn't buy it on season. And he swore by Moultrie. That was what he used. So I was like, I don't know nothing about this. So yeah. But I'll tell you what, those things are tanks, man. They work.
Yep.
So now this is the first ever. You saw that I had a muddy trail camera. I've been getting a lot of different muddy stuff. I like some of their products. It's well built. I like this camera since it's like a $60 camera. I think it's a good alternative that's non-cellular to a Moultrie. Okay, at that price
Right.
point, I will
Mhm.
buy the muddy over the Wild Game Innovations. If you hand me a $60 bill and ask me, are you going to buy Moultrie? Are you going to buy Wild Game Innovations? Or are you going to buy muddy? I'm going to buy muddy. I just think
Yeah,
it's built better. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but the plastic seems more rugged. I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely built better than some of these other trail cameras.
so you think it's better than Wild Game, or do you think it's better than Spy Point and some of the other ones you mentioned?
I think
Like
at
build quality wise.
build quality, it's the build quality of like $120 cameras. I guess that's what I'm getting
Okay.
at. I like the Spy Point for 120. You get cellular. If this was not cellular for 100, and because I know a lot of the muddy stuff, if we look at it here, you're looking at like for cellular 160. I mean, you do have one here that's 120.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
the what is it? The Manifest 2.0.
Oh, the cellular one right here, the
Yeah.
120.
Yeah.
Don't you
Yep.
agree though? The build quality on these are superior to some of these cheaper ones.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty durable. They hold up. They take pretty good pictures. I'm trying to find a picture on my
They have a stock image
On
here.
my
Let's see if I
phone
can
here.
pull that up. They have this. Here's that turkey one. That I guess I haven't complained. I have no complaints from the muddy trail cam pictures. I think they're good.
So here's I'm gonna send in.
Yeah, go ahead. Send it over in the chat. So, and what about you guys? Randy in the chat. Have you used any of these additional cameras like Muddy or any of the other ones? Because I know Erin probably gets tired of it. She can't keep up with it because I'm always buying all these different cameras.
Well, you gotta try what works for you.
Yeah, and then sometimes you buy a camera and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted, and then I feel like you just wasted all that money. There's been a case where
Right.
I bought one and it worked great for a year, and it started messing up. It sent it back and sent back to me saying, "Oh yeah, it's fixed," and then I got it and still wasn't fixed, and I ended up it's just sitting as a paperweight downstairs because there's no point running it when every picture you get looks like you're looking through a cloud.
Yeah, I had that with one of the Spy Points when I got it sent back, but they didn't give me a hard time. What company was that with?
Bow Creek.
So Bow Creek. I haven't used their
Yeah.
stuff, but but again, you used it. You had that problem. You were telling us about it, and we stayed away from it.
Mhm.
We stayed
Yeah.
away from it because it's like if that's how they're going to treat their customers, I don't want anything to do with it. And I would be
Yeah.
the same way with one of these other companies, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen to anyone. I mean, you reveal Spy Point, anyone,
Yeah.
you can get a bad camera and you can get a bad rep, and it just puts a bad taste in your mouth, and you're not going to be willing to go tell all your friends and buddies that, oh yeah, go try this trail camera if they're not living up to their name and everything else, and you're not going to let your buddy do it because then your buddy's like, what is he talking about? This camera sucks.
Right. And then they're going to come back at you. So
Yeah.
with all these cameras now, you guys all have the Spy Points. You've had, the Bow Creek. You have Muddy, whatever that are cellular. Have you ever run into the problem where you had no signal from any of these cameras? Because I know that's a question people ask when they get into cellular. Like, you don't understand. I don't get
Yeah.
cell signal here. How am I going to run something like that?
For the most part, I try to find an area that has pretty decent service. But no, I mean, I've had my cameras in areas where the service is iffy, and there's days where my camera won't send any pictures, but then a couple days later, all my pictures come through. So
Yeah.
I haven't had an instance that my camera doesn't work at all. I mean, the service is spotty, so I'm like, you know what? As long as it's sending me pictures,
That's right.
it is what it is
Yeah.
at that point.
Well, and Randy goes on to say not every camera is going to be perfect. He's 100% right.
Right.
Yep.
The other thing, one thing I would say about Spy Point that I have a little irritation with is when you get down to 30% battery, it stops sending you pictures. It'll still take them, it'll still store them,
Mhm.
but they don't even give you a change battery warning. I mean, that to me, as a guy that works with hardware and software with cameras, I work in an industry with that. You would think that the developer could simply put, and Jake, I was going to ask you with the Tacticam if it does that. When you get down to 30%, does it say replace battery so you can get, your pictures? Does it do that for you?
Yeah, it tells you that you've used 80% of your battery. Go out and
Yep.
change batteries, or your SD card's filling up. You used 90% of your storage. Make a trip to the woods to go replace it. Like, it tells you both of those.
Yeah,
things
see, mine
that-
doesn't. Spy Point doesn't do that, and so
Yeah.
Spy Point, if you're listening, you need to fix that.
Can you see the battery percentage on your app
You can.
of how much? Okay, so at least, I mean, you have to physically go and do it. It's not
But you
like
know
they're
what,
gonna
though?
Tell you, but
Braden,
How many times do you open it and look at it?
well, I look at it to look at the pictures, but Braden, I mean, do you go in here and look that? Oh, okay. Because depending on if it's cold or hot, your battery might
Right.
say one day that you have
Mhm.
100%. Then the next day it says you have 60% because it's cold. Um,
Yeah.
and so like to go into it, like right now it says I have 100% battery life because I just changed batteries the other day, and I put lithium ion. And I want to tell everybody out there, they are more expensive batteries, but if you use lithium ion batteries, you will get 3 times
Yeah.
the amount of battery life in your camera. So I don't
And
care what
better
anybody
in
tells
cold.
you.
Better in the cold too.
Mhm.
They don't.
Yep, 100,
Drain your-
100%
Yes.
agree with that.
Don't chintz out on your batteries. Don't get your off the shelf door cells or energizers. If you have to use it because that's all you have at the time, do it. I go on and get the lithium ion from Energizer. I get them on Amazon. I buy like 24 to 36 at a shot. You definitely want to do that.
Yep.
To make sure that you have the proper, because like I said, I changed it back in January and I just had to change the battery. Well, I think it was last week, and that was from a lithium ion. So that went through what, 5 months?
Yeah.
We'll say 5 months, give or take. So spend the extra money, get the lithium ions, put them in your cameras. I don't care what camera you're using. You'll thank me later. So will your wallet.
Yep.
So I would have to say that if the now you guys are going to make me go out and buy one of these Tacticam reveals, because I mean I'm being serious. Like little things like that. Now the other question is it like the Spy Point where they send it to you and you activate it through the app? You're not going to AT&T and trying to get another line put on. Like I had to do that with the Myers Trail Cam.
Yep. No, it's all done through the app. You just go in and you scan. I think they still have the QR codes on them.
Okay.
I think it came with the.
So it has a SIM built in for either, like, does it tell you if it's AT&T or Verizon?
They
or
send you, the newer ones now send you either an AT&T SIM or a Verizon SIM. So you pick and put it in your camera.
And it's completely separate. You don't need to have an account with AT&T or Verizon or anything like that. It's just completely.
Nope.
You create the account through Tacticam, and then Tacticam does all the setting up through all the data stuff. You just pay Tacticam, and they do all the back end stuff for you.
Okay. Randy says.
You buy the SIM, and that's it.
Randy says, the farm that I hunt, my Spy Point won't get service. I bought antennas from Amazon, went from 25% signal to 90%. That is something that they do offer. I know Spy Point offers antenna adjustments and attachments.
Places where you get no signal.
Yeah, but also I know the other companies you can get them to better antennas. Yeah, he's saying just wait till the new Spy Point Flex comes out. Yeah, man, I'm interested. I see it on my app. At least the new hats look better than the ones that I bought. But I just think, okay, and I'm not trying to sell anybody here, but overall, if you ask me what I'm going to buy a Spy Point. Maybe I'll check out the Tacticam, but I have some issues with the Tacticam that I originally had that the Tacticam kind of ignored. Like, for instance, I had the swelling battery issue with the Tacticam. They would not send me a replacement because they said I must have left it in the heat. And I'm like, how do I leave it in the heat when it's sitting in a studio all day?
Yeah.
I said one of my batteries did it, the other one didn't do it. So you explain that to me, okay? And they both go to the same place. So I have a bad taste in my mouth again from Tacticam. It's been my experience. I'm not saying anybody else shouldn't.
Right.
But Spy Point, for the price, I think it's the affordability for everything. I think it just hits that sweet spot. But again, you have to decide based on the features that are available to you what you want to get. If you had to choose, Braden, what's your favorite camera that you have right now?
I would have to go with my Tacticam SK reveal.
And for those listening, as to why you would choose that?
Mainly the solar panel built on
Mhm.
has the lithium ion battery pack in there. They take a test shoot, like you were saying. All apps are relatively the same. I like the layout of the Tacticam app, but like you were saying, they're all relatively the same. Just the random features, like Jake was saying, you get how much percentage your card used and your battery life left, and I don't know. I've been running Tacticam Reveal since the original one, and I've had the Reveal X, the XB. I've had them all, and I love them. I like my spy points too, but there's just been some things like the picture quality. It's not the best. It's not as good as Tacticam, but it's not bad. And mainly, I wouldn't pick the spy points over my Tacticam just because of the bad instances my buddies had with spy point. They bought a couple and they haven't.
Yeah.
They worked like a week. That's the only reason I'm saying I would pick the Tacticam over the spy point. Not that the spy point's bad, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just I've had enough people talking about the spy points, and that's why I'm leaning more toward my Tacticam. And I've been using my Tacticams more than the spy points also.
But for $199, look what you get. You get the detachable solar panel, you get the camera, you
Right.
get the tree mount, you get 2 antennas, rechargeable LiPo pack, and then you get adjustable strap. I don't use the
Yep.
straps anymore. I have those anchors that you put in the tree and then you just screw it on.
Screws,
Yeah,
yep.
I like that.
They're nice.
But for $199, that's quite a deal here.
Yep.
And Spy Point,
And
they
you
gotta have
think
to.
about it, you don't have to buy batteries.
Well,
For
that's
$200,
yeah.
you get a solar panel and a rechargeable battery pack, so you never have to buy batteries.
Jake, of all the ones that you've seen and even ones that you've owned, if somebody said to you, Jake, what would you choose of all the cameras that you had? What would you choose?
Tacticam as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only cellular one I have, so in that aspect, it would be that. Even some of the other like Wild Games or those Tasco cameras you get at Walmart. I don't know. I just the quality you get from the Tacticam cameras, just from the SD card pulls, and even the ones from your app. Sometimes the quality, just 720p or whatever the resolution is that they send to you, is just so much better to look at than some of these other cameras. That's the actual final resolution you get when you pull the card.
I'm gonna have to. You guys are gonna have me probably ordering one of these.
Hashtag Impulse Buy.
Yeah, Impulse Buy. Randy says, I liked my reveals, but got rid of them when I run the Spy Points. Yeah, I mean, I listen, I have nothing against Spy Point. They don't sponsor, so I mean, if they were floating me cameras or something like that, I mean, I guess I'd have to stick with it. But I'm at the point right now where I can, I could pick and choose what, and be unbiased. And that's what we want to be able to do here on this show. We want to be able to say unbiased. None of us are sponsored by any of these companies for cameras. But we want to be able to tell people, like, this has been our experience. You decide, but out of all the cameras that we used, this is what I'm going to choose. And right now, for the cameras that I have in my inventory, if you will, I'm going to stick with the Spy Point for right now. Now, I might change my mind if I get the reveal, but out of all the cameras I have, the Spy Point's the best against the Muddy, against the Moultrie, against the Wild Game Innovations. I was gonna say, I think I have a Browning trail camera too out there, and Browning is like, this is all they had. I had to buy it. I needed a camera up,
Right.
so I bought it.
Yeah,
Nothing against Browning, but I don't have negative or positive to say about it.
It does what it needs to do.
Yeah, because some of the stuff with it to get the date and time is really clunky. So those are types of things. But from what you're saying, and I was looking, I was like, oh, the new Tacticams don't come with the solar panel. And I look down and see all the stuff that's included with it. I don't know. That just in itself sells me on it. Like, you're
Right.
getting, I mean, you look at the solar panels for like Spy Point or something, you're looking at $70, $80, maybe
Yeah.
even $100. I don't know.
You buy the external solar, it makes them more bulky. I mean, right here's the whole camera, and it's the length of my hand.
Yeah,
So
with the solar panel on it.
with the solar panel on it. Yep.
I almost want that for my house, and I want to get, if it's good, I want to get one for my mother-in-law's house and deactivate that other one or put it somewhere else in the woods that we don't need to change batteries. But
Right.
dang it, we've come to the end of the show. It looks like we got to wrap things up. Aaron, with listening to all this, if you had to pick, what would you pick?
Well, I actually like that last one. I mean,
The Tacticam?
Yes, he's so. I mean, we use a lot of.
Wait,
them.
wait, back up. Did you hear that, guys? You sold her, Braden.
Yes,
You sold her on it.
From listening
That's a
to
2
Braden
thumbs
talk,
up.
yes. From listening to Braden talk, I would say I like the Tacticam best if I had to pick one.
So, I know Randy's saying Spy Point sells a solar camera also. They do, and up
Yep.
near the $200. Like if you buy
Mm-hmm.
250 bucks. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see them side by side. Again, I'm trying to look past the way I
Right.
feel with. I think it's the Tacticam 3.0. I'm looking back there because I thought it was up on my shelf. It must be out in the garage with the other stuff. But the 3.0,
But
I
yeah,
think
I
that was the
mean-
first one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, my Tacticams are my favorite. But like I said, I have Moultrie, Wild Game, Spy Point, Muddies. I like them all well enough to keep continuing using them. So I still buy more of them, buy Spy Points whenever I need to. It's like I said, my personal preference is the Tacticams, but I like all my cameras I run. So I'm not gonna say any of them are junk or crappy. This camera might have something that this camera doesn't, and to me, that's why I bought all my cameras. I like to tinker around and mess with them all to see which one I like
Yeah.
the most. And the Tacticam was a winner for me.
Well, that's definitely something we want to bring to the audience here. We want you guys to. And Randy really appreciated it. He said he enjoyed the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, Randy, on the way out.
Thanks for tuning in, Randy.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
we're doing this every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I know come August we're going to take a break for the hunting season, get some content, and come back in the end of January, early February, so that way everybody's out in the trees. Nobody's going to be watching this show. They're hopefully going to be hunting. We should be doing that. So we're gonna do that, and so when season 2 comes out, we should have a whole mess of new stuff. Maybe self films of the hunts that we did, so we can show that. But a lot of great ideas, a lot of great things that we want to talk about, and we want to talk about it the real way. We don't want no fluff, no muss, like being paid to
Right.
say something.
Because we're not.
No, we wanted to, because Braden will get you to buy something. He just says impulse buy, and
Yeah,
then you're
thanks,
buying
Braden.
it.
Pretty much.
You just you just have to say it. It's hashtag impulse buy. So we end up doing that. But no, seriously, like we want the consumer to say, hell, I'm in the mood. I'm in the market for a trail cam. I don't know what to buy. Maybe by listening to our banter, you can go, maybe I want to stick with this brand. But you have to make the decision. We're not going to tell you what to buy.
Right.
It's your money.
Yep.
We'll just present the facts and the issues that we had, and you decide if you want to take a chance. But,
Yep.
well, we want to thank the Goat Man, Jake Oxenford. That's his new nickname now, by the
The
way.
Goat
Yes,
Man.
the Goat Man.
The Goat Man. Instagram.com/OxenChevy if you want to follow his adventures with his goats and his, well, you don't
Donkey.
have donkey. I was going to say ducks, too, but I don't think you have any ducks yet.
No,
Not
the neighbor has.
The neighbor
geese
has
and-
them. I remember you said something about that, but
Yeah.
you can follow his adventures there as well as his family life and his hunting life. And he did move his bow. His bow's not there. We'll see how long it stays on the.
there.
We'll see how long it stays on the kitchen table, though.
Not long. The wife's already on me.
You guys can follow Braden Pennington. You can go to Instagram.com/Braden07, and he posts a lot. He's a big saddle hunter, part of the ambassador team over at Trophy Line. So if you have any questions when it comes to saddle hunting, definitely hit him up.
I'd be more than happy to help.
He got me involved with saddle hunting, so yes, he knows his stuff. So you can check him out there, and he's also on TikTok. So all the links and stuff should be on his Instagram, and
Yep.
he can get you there. And then my wife, you can check her out, Instagram.com/Keystone Huntress. She likes to join when she can. Sometimes
Sometimes I can't do it, but
you've been here most of the time, so.
Mhm.
But you guys can check her out, and you can also go. Randy says he needs a demo for the saddle hunting. So, yeah, if you hit Braden up on Instagram, he could probably shoot you some videos that he's done, or
I can give him a demo if he wants one.
he can give you a demo. He got me
Yep.
to get the trophy line, and I will tell you, even though he's an ambassador, I will tell you he's used the other ones, and he's stuck by this, and that's why he got heavily involved with that. So he's not going to lead you wrong. I think we did an episode on saddle hunting, didn't we? It was like episode 7 or 8 of this, right?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, we talked a good bit about it.
And we're gonna get the guys from Trophy Line on to talk about the product as well in the future. So look for that to come. But yeah, hit up Braden; he can get you that. Everything else you can find out on NoBoundariesOutdoors.com. You can also find me on Instagram, NVO Steven, for No Boundaries Outdoors. And guys, we really appreciate it. And for those that you tuned in, we appreciate it. Randy, thanks for being really involved in the chat here. We will see you next week for more No Boundaries Outdoors stories from the cabin.